Hello there. In this video, we will be learning about refraction of the plane waves using Huygens principle. So let's first recap what was Huygens principle. So every point on a wavefront acts as a source of secondary spherical wavelets, and the new wavefront is the common tangent to these wavelets. Let's use Huygens principle in order to find the refraction of plane waves. Let's say this is a surface such that the speed of light in this medium is v1 and the speed of light in this medium is v2, and the light is going from medium number 1, let's call this as m1, to medium number 2, that's m2. Let's say these are the rays of light. So if we draw the wavefront, it would look something like this, that is perpendicular to the rays. So let's say this is the incident wavefront. Now, let's say this is the situation at t equals to 0. So after some time, both the rays would be moving forward. Let's say at t time, this particular ray would have traveled this much distance. So if the speed of the light ray in this medium is v1, so this would have traveled the distance of v1 times t. Now, in t time, this particular ray would have traveled certain distance, but that distance would be shorter because let's say this is v2, the speed of light in this medium is v2, and let's say this was a rarer medium and this is denser medium. So we can say the speed of light in a denser medium is lesser, so v2 is less than v1. So the distance that this particular light ray travels would be v2t. Now, in order to form the second wavefront, what we need to do is we need to draw this circle that would have the radius equal to v2 times t, and then draw a common tangent from this particular point, that is from this wavelet to this one. So if we draw the tangent, that would look something like this. So this is how the tangent would look like. So this is our refracted wavefront, and this one is our incident wavefront. Now, since the rays are perpendicular to the wavefronts, so we can find the refracted rays, and this is how they would look like. This is 90 degrees and this angle is 90 degrees. So ultimately, this is our incident ray and this would be our refracted ray. This would be our incident wavefront, and this one would be the refracted wavefront. As the speed of light in this medium is v1, the speed of light in this medium is v2. So this distance in t time, this distance would be v1 times t, and this distance would be v2 times t. Now we are considering this to be a rarer medium and this to be a denser medium. So we can say that v2 would be lesser than v1. And this we can very well see over here as well, that this distance v2t is lesser than v1t. Let's carefully see the incident and refracted ray. So the angle between the incident ray and the normal is called the angle of incidence. We can call this as angle I. And the angle between the incident and refracted ray is called the angle of refraction. We can call that as angle R. Now, if you carefully see over here, this particular angle is 90 degree. So this angle comes out to be 90 degree minus the angle of incidence. Now, this complete angle is also 90 degrees since this is the angle between the normal and the surface. So this angle comes out to be angle of incidence. Now similarly, if we observe over here, this is angle of refraction and this is 90 degree. So this particular angle comes out to be angle of 90 minus R. Now in this triangle, if we see that this is 90 minus R, this is 90 degrees. So this angle comes out to be R. These two are the important angles that we have found out. This is angle of incidence and this is angle of refraction. Now, we can also define the angle of incidence as the angle between the incident wavefront and the surface, and the angle of refraction as the angle between the refracted wavefront and the surface. Now, if you carefully see, both these are right angle triangles. So the triangle number 1 is triangle ABC, and the another triangle is triangle ADC. In triangle ABC, if we find the value of sine I, so the value of sine I is perpendicular divided by hypotenuse. So the perpendicular in this particular case would be V1t. It would be equal to BC, but the value of BC is V1t divided by the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse would be AC. Similarly, if we find in the triangle ADC, if we find the angle of sine r, if we find sine of angle r, then it would be perpendicular by hypotenuse. The perpendicular in this case is AD, the value of which is V2t. So we can say V2t divided by the hypotenuse, that would be AC. Now let's divide both these things. So we can say that sine I divided by sine r, that would be equal to V1t divided by AC divided by V2t divided by AC. Now AC and AC can get cancelled and we will be ultimately left with V1 divided by V2. Since the speed of light in this medium is V1, the speed of light in the another medium is V2, and these speeds are constant, so the ratio of V1 by V2 will also be constant, and this is what is called Snell's law. So this is how you can prove refraction using Huygens principle. In this derivation, we had actually taken the light coming from a rarer to a denser medium. We can also do the vice versa. We can say the light coming from a denser to rarer medium. All the things would be same, but the only thing that would be different is the way the light is refracting. So in the first case, the light was refracting in such a way that the refracted ray was bending towards the normal. But when the light goes from a denser to rarer medium, it will bend away from the normal, but all the things would be the same. So we can also define the incident wavefront, the refracted wavefront, and we can prove exactly the same thing. So we will be also getting that sin I by sin r would be constant even in the denser to a rarer medium. I hope you are now clear with the refraction of the plane waves using the Huygens principle. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.